Okay, for this, can you tell me what type of graph is this? Can you type in the chat what type of graph is this? So just now, earlier, we did line graph. So you'll notice, right, it's like in one paper, right, they can actually test quite a few graph questions, and graph interpretation of graph, right, has been is getting more popular in PSLE exam because they want to make sure that students are able to read graph because it is like real life example. Okay, especially next time if you go out to work and all this, right, you need to sometimes draw charts, draw graph and all this. Okay, so what type of graph is this? There's no such thing as unit graph. What type of graph is this? We have line graph, and this is called what? Start with B. Anyone know? Nobody knows the answer. What graph is this called? Okay, anyway, I say the answer. Okay, bar graph. Okay, this is a bar graph. Okay, so and for graph question, right, one of the harder questions for students is when the scale, this one they call it the scale is not shown. The scale is not shown. So when the scale is not shown, then how? Then after that, students don't know what is the number. The number of flowers sold is what? I don't know. I don't know how many is this. I don't know how many is this. I don't know how many is this. So what concept do I use? What do I write? Okay, so for some of you, I think I've taught you before, then not sure whether do you know if the or if you can if you all follow me on TikTok, right? I also did a P4 question where I did that something where the scale is not shown. Okay, so you can follow me on TikTok and then you can watch that video. It's a P4 question. Okay, the scale is not shown. So what can you do? If the scale is not shown, you write units. Can you write units? So this is like 5 unit. Just count, okay, each one is 1 unit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 unit, 15 unit, 20 unit. So over here, right, is 12 unit, 9 units, and 16 units. Whenever the scale is not shown, write units. Can whenever the scale is not shown, we write units. Okay, it is getting very popular. So I think you all will see it in a lot of your school paper. Some of you will see in P5 or P4. Okay, so what was the percentage decrease? You realize that to calculate percentage decrease, right, I do not need to know the actual number, correct? Because it's just a percentage, it's like ratio. I do not need to know the actual number. So, can you tell me, recall, what is the formula for percentage decrease? What is the formula for percentage decrease? Percentage decrease. What is the formula for percentage decrease? The formula. Percentage decrease equals to what? The change, which is the decrease, right? Yeah, correct. Alicia, you're right. Okay, the decrease over the original times 100%. Can? So what is the decrease from January to February? So you can see that from January to February, right, there is a drop. A decrease of how many units? A decrease of 3 units, right? Because I did 12 units minus 9 units is 3 units. And the original is 12 units. Can? The original is 12 units. And then I need to multiply 100%. Can? So actually all the units you can just remove it lah. Correct? You will get 12 minus 9 is 3 over 12 times 100%. You press your calculator. Make sure when you press your calculator, right, you all don't press percentage, because why? I still want to leave my answer with a percentage there. So if you press percentage, right, you will get a very weird number. You get 0.25, but the actual answer is 25. Okay, so make sure you don't press a percentage because the final answer still got percentage. Okay, so the answer is 25%. Okay, now let's move on to B part 1. So you see now they give you a number, right? Just now in the graph they never give you a number. There were 144 more graphs sold in March than in January. Every time you see the word more than, what did I ask you all to do before? Can you remember? In paper 1, we did a lot of this. Whenever you see the word more than, what do you draw? Can you write it down? What do you draw every time you see the word more than or less than? Yes, very good, Alicia. You draw comparison model. So if you don't know how to do, right, you just follow all these simple keywords to help you. You will be able to do it, man. Okay. So I know that, right, in March, you look at your graph, okay. I want March and January. Okay, in March is 16 unit. In January is 12 unit. So I'm just going to draw the graph of March is 16 unit. Okay, and then January. January is 12 unit, right? And then the difference is what? They given you that the difference is 144. Correct. Can you tell me 144 is how many units? How many units is 144? Can you look at the model? How many units is 144? Okay, very good, Marcus, Franco, Alphas. Okay, 4 unit. 4 unit is 144. The question asks how many files were sold in March, right? So this is my question mark. So I need to find 16 unit. Same thing, you can first find 1 unit, then find 16, or you can straight away find 16. Okay, you will get 576. Then, okay. Okay, question B is also another average question. Okay, so you see a graph, right? Graph questions, they like to test average. So usually graph and average are together. Okay, the average number of files sold from January to May was 435. So earlier we learned about average, right? Can you remember if I give you the average, how do I find the total? Which means that on average, okay, on average, every month is 435. January 435, average of February is 435, March 435. On average, every month is 435. Can you tell me what is the total files from January to May? What is the total files from January to May? Okay, on average, every month is 435. So from January to May, I have how many months? I have 5 months. Okay, so the total number of files is 435 times 5. Can? So if given the average, right, you can find the total. Okay, it will be 2,175. Okay, then right, the question also asks, what was the average number of files sold in April and May? So to calculate the average number of files sold in April and May, sold in the 2 months, right? I need to know what is the total files sold in January to March. Because I have the total from January to May, right? I need to know the total from January to March so that I can find the total from April and May. Okay, why do I find January to March, right? Because I know that January to March is 12 unit plus 9 unit plus 16 unit. You add them all up, you will get, press your calculator, you will get 37 unit. So you calculate 37 unit. You know that 1 unit, okay, just now I didn't calculate what is 1 unit. 1 unit, right, is 36. Correct. You will take 144 divided by 4. You get 36. So to find 37 unit, you just take 36 times 37. Okay, you will get 1,332. If I know that the total files from January to March is 1,332, I can calculate the total files from April to May. Okay, those who can't see this, right? Let me draw model to help you to see better, okay? This is, I have January. Okay, let me just write down all the months, okay? February, March, April, May. Correct. And I know that from January to May is 2175. From January to March is 1332. So how do I calculate from April to May? April to May, I will take the total 2,175 minus away 1,332. You press your calculator, you get 843. Okay, so the total in April and May is 843. The question asks, what is the average soap per month? Correct, in April and May. From April to May, there are how many months? There are 2 months. So if I know that the total is 843, the average will be, right? Sorry, I got no space here. Average, right, will be 843 divided by 2. You will have a decimal. It's okay, for average is different from number. Average, right, you can have decimal or fraction. Can? So the average number of files cannot have decimal, right? But average number of files can have decimal. Can? So the answer is 421.5. So same thing, some of you haven't learned average before, so this might be a bit confusing. But you just review the video again or do the question one more time after you learn the topic in school. Can?